It's your boy Israel, aka King Izzy, also known as Pretty Izzy, Khalifa Izzy. You tuned in to Nolazine.
Gotcha. So for the people who don't know, I'm like, tell them where you from.
From New Orleans, Louisiana, Ninth Ward to be exact. This is home. This is my roots. Born and raised. Went to a lot of the popular high schools, McMain, John Mack, 35. Yeah.
Gotcha. So if I interviewed a lot of people from it was the Ninth Ward, but I never really got into full details about Hurricane Katrina with anyone.
hmm
Like, bring me back to that day. Like, hey, but was you actually? I'm like down here staying in your house.
So believe it or not, when Katrina hit, we evacuated,
Okay.
and we was staying in Mid City at the time, right behind.
You still got hit.
Still got it. We was staying right behind Mid City Rocking Bowl off of Solomon Street, and we was staying in a 2-story duplex. The whole first floor was gone, but we evacuated, And the funny thing about it was me and my brother, shout out to my brother. We just did a song with Jay Mills that gonna be dropping in 2 weeks.
At the same Jim Mills that's
yeah.
okay. Gotcha.
But yeah, so I can remember like 2 weeks before Katrina hit, we was sitting on our couch in the living room. We was like, man, God need to do something to this city. Like, man, we tired of people just killing each other up. I want to go somewhere else. We was kids,
So I ask you this question before you go.
Go ahead.
Do you feel like New Orleans was actually worse before Katrina, or it's still bad right now?
Honestly, life is always perspective. So the only thing that really changes is our perspective. Because the same older people that was saying like, our generation was bad, they was just worse than their generation. So I don't think it's worse. I really do. I see the good in it. I really do see the good in it. It's
Me
changing.
personally, just being outside for both, like, it was a little bit like right before Katrina and now, and like, being outside. Well, I'm not outside now, but I know what's going on outside.
Right.
And like, I think it had a different breed of people that was here before Katrina. Like,
Right.
People don't really get kidnapped like they did before Katrina.
Right.
Like, they had some people that was kind of clever. Like, I heard stories of people pulling up in front of the club with like U-Haul trucks, acting like they're gonna sell something and rob everybody. Like, they don't do that now.
Right.
They like people are a little more clever. Like,
Right.
people waited outside your home for real.
Right.
That's why I said they had a different type of breed of people.
Right. Because nowadays we got way too many cameras. It's everybody walking around with a camera, so people are a little bit more cautious. It's just, it's really changing. I see the change. I see, things getting better. It really is, I'm thankful to be able to talk to a lot of the youngsters. Like, when I be up and down Bourbon, I hear it in them. Like, they tired of a lot of stuff, so, it's changing. If I could put this in, like, first and foremost, I am a practicing, believing Muslim. I bear witness that there is no God except the Creator, and Muhammad is his final prophet and messenger. But I said that to say, Islam is starting to spread heavily all throughout New Orleans. Like, it's like everybody knows somebody that came home Muslim, family member that's turned. So it's that's part of the reason why New Orleans is starting to kind of change for the better, in the sense like. Same with out there in O Block in Chicago.
Right.
It took for one solid brother to come home from prison that really had credibility to really push Islam, and when you do what
He
you
was
supposed
solid,
to.
and also but his son had big influence as well.
Right.
Yeah, so that kind of helped.
Right.
Well, I want to ask you this question right quick. Bring me back to like for the people who not people who not like fully familiar with the whole like Muslim and everything like that.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, what made you choose to actually be what made you actually choose to actually go Muslim?
I was hungry. I was hungry for the truth. I was hungry. I was lost. I was, I was in prison. I was lost, and I was hungry for the truth. I was studying Buddhism, Hinduism, the Mormon Bible, Catholicism. I was tired of living the life I was living, And I fasted for almost a full week. No food, no water, just praying out, crying out to the Creator to send me the truth. I just wanted that guidance. And I never forget, it was a brother by the name of Joey Graham. He was a rolling 60 Crip from, and, I'm blood, so, and for him to come and put the Quran in my hand and, and introduce me to Islam, man, I love that brother for forever. It changed my life, and I love it.
Right. Because like a lot of people, it'd be very hard to like change your, with your whole diet and everything like that. Because some people want to become vegan and like they don't know that you still got to eat certain stuff just to live. Like because your bones will get weak and different things like that.
True. Also for me, like I had a solid foundation in Christian. Like a lot of us in New Orleans, believe it or not, regardless of what everybody else tell y'all. Like people here in New Orleans have good hearts. We good-hearted people. It's just the ignorance. Like when it go down right then and there. But it's really don't be like just, hatred and animosity and shoot. When it go down in a bad way. But we really good-hearted people that most of us raised up in the church in Christianity. So, my parents laid, the foundation with Christianity. So that's what, led me to Islam. I always had God, like most of us in New Orleans. We born with God in us,
Gotcha. And but there's so much you just said. I have so many questions for you right quick. Like, so I'm gonna jump on this one first. Like, because people gonna ask. Like, if you said, you like, if you were like a blood, right? Mm-hmm. So like people gonna know how you became a blood because we don't have no real gangs in New Orleans.
Right. So that's
break it down for the people. Break it down.
That's another misconception. So like a lot of people like the thing about New Orleans that we struggled with for years was the organization. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of gangbangers from all over the country when they come down to New Orleans be like, "Oh man, y'all not organized or y'all not." No, man, that's not true. Bloods, Crips, GDs, Black Peace don't been here in New Orleans. You know what I'm saying? You have brothers that know, the principles and what it stand for, and stand on it, and you have some that just do it for a trend, because they see it become a popular thing. Now, me personally, I'm gonna get a little personal with you. So before, growing up, something that I did for my family, I had a very big family, still do. A lot of siblings, a lot of nieces, nephews. And my parents taught us, my father instilled in us that we was royal blood. So this was something that I started for my brothers, my cousins, my nieces, nephews. And just getting into the streets and in the prison, ain't nowhere in the world you about to walk around raw blood tattooed all over you and think you about to just straggle that line. Like, you know what I'm saying? So, in prison, when it go down, it go down. And I was blessed to be around a lot of solid brothers. Shout out to King Blood. Them brothers, guided me, and I thank God for this. Like, I love this way of life, And because I know what it did for me, even before having Islam, it gave me some type of structure and guidance. That old saying is true. If you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything.
Facts.
I love my people. I love my tribe. I don't even consider it a gang. It's a tribe. Like our people, our ancestors, we were always tribal. It's just nowadays it's because of the ignorance we feud a lot, but it's the same military. You got different branches of the military, but it's the same military. I love all my people, and I just pray we continue, strengthening each other and unifying, and we will. We will.
Because, a lot of people, people still going to ask, like, being a blood, like, even though, I've been to Cali, but their gangs don't really respect gangs outside of right. Like outside of Cali anyway, but like, from saying like, if Lil Wayne went on, drink tips, right. It was like, they ain't had no real gangs in New Orleans besides the ones on the West Bank. But me and you were talking earlier, the only person I know that was officially gang tied in New Orleans at a certain time was like Chuck from Big Boy because he was from Cali. But like like when you say Bloods and Crips, so people gonna be like, man, New Orleans always bang sets.
Like, okay, so like my oldest sister, I never forget when we was growing up in the 90s. Well, she got put out, and she got sent to Job Corps in Shreveport.
Yeah, I remember that.
She came back. We going through her, her bags and everything. We see her blue flag. Everybody had one in the home because a lot of us did a lot of traveling, and again, the thing that we never had in New Orleans was the organization. Until like a lot of us went to prison, and you had brothers from Cali, from New York, from Chicago that's locked up. They gonna call you out. I didn't been G checked before, and I stood on that. And I had to tell a brother, look, it's me right here. I die and kill behind this because I love it. Go ahead,
I gotta also ask this. You say in prison, you gotta make
Right,
sure
right.
you stand correct, because in federal prison, I can see that happening. But when you go to state, you kind of really bang your city. So like I won't ask you.
Right. No, that's a good
did you go
question.
to state or you went to feds?
State prison.
Okay, because
and I'm gonna tell you why. Like if you ever really did any time, or up north, like North Louisiana, they more organized with their game. You got to realize.
That's because of Tukey Williams.
Thank you. And a lot of people don't know that. That man from Monroe, if I'm not mistaken. Shreveport, from Shreveport.
Well, he actually was born in New Orleans. And a lot of people know the full history.
Right.
But he was...
Right.
It's like technically he's not really from neither one. Like he was born in New Orleans.
Right.
He stayed in Shreveport for a while before he moved to Cali. But he's not technically from neither one. But he has family members everywhere.
But growing up, being around a lot of them brothers in prison, you gonna have to stand on whatever it is you claiming, or you gonna lose your life. Plain and simple, So it ain't nothing to play with, like I said, especially when you up north, and shout out to them brothers. I love them brothers. Like I said, one of the brothers that actually introduced me to Islam was Rolling 60 Crip, and it's just I want to see more unification with North Louisiana and us down here, because a lot of time that'd be a lot of beef too in the prison system.
Right, but I think it's more of a New Orleans mentality. I don't think, people say they with gangs, but people ain't really with gangs down here. Like, they never got initiated. They never had no fights and got jumped in and none of that. I know this for sure. Like, some people are like, come on, man.
Right,
you just claiming it, but, a lot of people don't really know how serious and severe that it really is.
That's why I say it just, whatever it, man, do your history. Do your history, whatever it is, whatever set you claiming, do your history.
Right.
Do your history from... For me, like I said, I was blessed to be around people like King Blood, as well as, GKB, Gangsta Killer Blood, G-Shines, and again, me personally, before, I grew up like the song I did, Church Boy. I grew up square, you know what I'm saying? I did everything in my power to stay away from the streets, to stay away, everything I did was always centered around my family. But as I got older and being in the streets and in prison, you either gonna lose your life behind something that you straggling the line with, because all my partners and everything was, blood, and all my tattoos and everything, which had nothing to do with that. But once I constantly got approached by a lot of other, Crip brothers, you know what I'm saying, that even other bloods, that checked me on, I had to stand on that. And then even with my partners, my brothers that went and got the same, my set tattooed on them, Royal Blood. So anytime you see anybody with that on them, that's me. It's nothing to boast about and stuff. They
just speak your story,
right,
how you was raised.
Right, but that's me. God forgive me for my sins, but my little brother right now, he been gone 10 years, behind me. Right. My little partner that fell on the charge with him, but, God bless him to get a lot of time back, and he about to be home, but, it wasn't nothing that we want to play around with, especially me, for me, it started out, like I said, just me trying to keep my family unified, but at the end of the day, you can't straggle that line. It's life or death,
So actually, this question before we jump on to the subject, at what age did you become one like blood in New Orleans, and also is it a certain like area like in the ninth ward and that's all bloods?
Again, all throughout, honestly, all throughout the Ninth Ward, most of the people in the Ninth Ward were a red flag just because everybody else doing it. You know what I'm saying? Like, one thing I try to do when I do come across brothers that's not, really knowledgeable about what they doing, I try to pull them aside and really make them understand. But for me, it was always about, let's see, I had to been about 23 years old simply because I had to stand on what it was that I started, which had nothing to do with gang life. But after being constantly approached by other gang members, I had to stand on that. And I learned my history, and I'm ready to die and kill behind it like I am to this day. And I hate to even, put that in a negative context, but that's what it is. If you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything.
And that's what you chose.
Right.
Gotcha. So as far as making music, how did you come up? With your rap name.
So that's actually my middle name, Israel. My mama named me Terrence Israel Bartley, and I didn't like my first name, so I always started telling people to call me by my middle name, which is Israel, and it just goes back to them spiritual roots. And my first rap name when I first started rap was Israel, aka WBK or WBK, which stood for Will Be King. But after my time in prison, I changed it from Will Be King to King Izzy because I felt like I rightfully earned my king status. You know what I'm saying? So, but yeah, and I had to constantly push my name to where it's a brand now. Like anybody that know King Izzy, I have a book. You know what I'm saying? Power and Mind Persuasion, the acronym, PIMP. But you can check it out on Amazon or Kindle. And the author is Israel, a.k.a. King Izzy.
Gotcha. Mm-hmm. So you have some brand new music that you just dropped, and you have some, and some features and everything like that. Mm-hmm. And so, I'm like, do you want to, name some people that you have been, working with?
I finished a song with Fiend. It's that we just waiting on, believe it or not, one female singer to lay her part. But me and Fiend, halfway finished the song. He did his part, I did my part. J Mills, Exotic Pop Out. Shout out to Exotic.
And it's funny because you mentioned Bourbon, but Pop Out, look, a lot of people just. I told him, I say, if you've been on Bourbon the past 15 years, you really saw him really grow up on Bourbon Street.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man.
I just want to say that.
His smile, right? Like for me, that did it for me. Like his smile, like the dude just got a genuine smile to let you know. Regardless of whatever, his smile, like the dude always smiling. But who else? Nas got next. We got a song dropping tonight at 12 a.m., which is Destined to Shine, produced by Boss ENT, Boss Beats, and it's a banger. We got a lot more stuff coming. A lot of people that I done linked up with. I've been doing features for years. Believe it or not, I had a long music career in Lafayette, where I live. I made the conscious decision after I got out of prison. I was homeless. I was living on Bourbon, sleeping on the Riverwalk, and I'm like, something got to give. So I moved to Lafayette, and got on my feet, and just to get away from the city. I didn't want to die or go do life. So, being out there, I worked with a lot of them brothers. I produced 2 TV shows out there. Kind of just like, my producer and engineer boss, I did a lot for the community out there. I constantly did a lot, like toy giveaways, Thanksgiving drives, events for the kids, and I, free of charge, I used to, shoot people videos, do they first shows, engineering, producing, free of charge, and I once coming back to New Orleans, I just felt like, and after linking back up with Boss, because I actually met Boss when he could tell you, when I first got out of prison in 2016, I was homeless, going to his studio, recording from my little dishwashing job, going to pay for studio time. And I seen what he did for New Orleans, like he did a lot. He put a lot of artists on it, a lot of artists, and this man, came out his pocket. Everybody was partying and balling, on his dime. Like, I saw this with my own eyes. And that just, made me have a lot of respect for that brother. So, when I came back down here to the city, I just linked back up with him. And I wanted to kind of, reciprocate everything that he put out, Because it's like, if ever we want God to do something for us, do it for somebody else,
Gotcha. So, I got to get in this because, I've been outside a long time. So I know it's another side of Bourbon. So I got to get into that part, So for the people who don't really know no better, I want you to explain Bourbon Street from the daytime to the nighttime, from the weekends to the weeks where people don't, like during the week where people don't know, but, anything can happen. Like, it's a lot. It's a lot that goes on Bourbon that you might miss if you just go out there just to drink.
Believe it or not. So I ain't about to hold you. I ain't about to tell you like I'm some, like I'm an on rapper already. Well, I still work. I got a 9-to-5 job. Yeah. But actually I work at the strip clubs on Bourbon. I'm about to head into work in a little bit after I finish this interview. And so I mean, it's a world of its own. Like this is. It draw people from all over the world simply because it have a mystique to it that's like no other place. It's an ancient city that's filled with everything you want. Any type of vice you could think of, you gonna find it on Bourbon. You might go from seeing, a shooting to seeing a midget walking with a 6-foot-tall man on a dog leash. You know what I'm saying? You're going to see some weird shit, but, this would attract people from all over the world. It's everything. It's Mac. Mac from No Limit. That's the brother that actually helped me learn how to produce. I was in his music theory class at Hunt. If anybody ever been to Hunt and passed through the gym, they remember, Mac used to have a music theory class. Anyways, this was something he told me, and it stuck with me. New Orleans have a healthy balance of death and life. Like, it's a very thin line. That's what attract people. It's the thrill of it being so much life, the music, the food, the sex, just everything. It's also so much death, so you just got to take the good with the bad,
Right. I think just people down here just living their life. They don't even be...
Right.
Yeah, I don't think they just know, like... It can really be your last day.
Right. And look, I swear to God, like every time I walk on the Bourbon, I always pray that, Lord, look, let me leave here the same way I came here, in peace and in one piece. I love all my people, but man, anybody could get it. No, like, and it's not to say like, it's just what it is.
I tell people, the crazy part is, this might be a little far-fetched. I said, man, New Orleans people don't do New Orleans. I mean, New Orleans people don't do tours nothing. But on Bourbon, it's liable to happen. But outside of Bourbon, New Orleans people don't bother tourists. Like people be scared of coming. Like, man, look, just don't turn on one of them side streets on Bourbon. Just don't get too drunk and be talking crazy to everybody. You probably have a good time. Just don't turn on them side streets. I always tell people don't turn on them side streets.
But man, look, on a positive note, the celebrities you get a chance. I ran into YG a few weeks ago, on Bourbon. Nino Kelvin, shout out to Nino Kelvin, hood favorite. Lil Soldier Slim, D-Ray Davis, the comedian. Right. Roxy from 106 in
She's from here. Shout out Roxy.
Yeah, I just got a picture with her too. Yeah. Shout out. Thank you, Roxy.
But I know Roxy.
Yeah.
She from here. She actually from the West Bank. She went to West Jeff.
Okay. Yeah. Somebody was telling me.
Yeah, she from here.
But yeah, man, that's one of the beautiful things about it too. I met Dr. Drew Pensky. I don't know if you know.
I heard that name before.
He was the sex therapist. He used to have the. He used to have the MTV
Just meet
show.
all kind of people.
The
on Bourbon.
weird. You remember the Weird Addictions? The MTV show. People go on there talk about all the different weird addictions they had. I'm
about to create that show.
Yeah.
Weird addiction. That sounds like.
But yeah, I had a chance.
Gave me an idea to go on Bourbon to go grab some people with weird addictions.
I forgot one of the. You had Fife Dog, Q-Tip. What was the other one? From Tribe Called Quest. I met him on Bourbon.
The main one I know is Q-Tip.
Q-Tip, Fife Dog. Yeah. I forget.
You liable to meet a lot of people on Bourbon Street or Frenchman. I tell people that all the time. You just gotta. I remember one time I had a birthday party on Frenchman, and I turned around. It was Jay Electronica was there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, I didn't even meet him in my life, but he came like, man, you know, I saw you being what you doing. He like, man, but you know, but I be hanging out here anyway.
Right.
So you just never know in New Orleans. Like people just be wanting to feel that energy.
Right.
On Bourbon and that. Like you wouldn't even realize, like, you know, but a lot of New Orleans people ever really. Like after a certain age, like man, I ain't going on no Bourbon, but like Bourbon is like a, you know, it's still our like staple.
Mm-hmm.
Like Bourbon Street can always overpower everything.
Right, and believe it or not, growing up, like the only time I walked on Bourbon was coming home. Me and my brothers, we were going to McMain.
Right.
We used to do stupid stuff like, you know, my pops take each other jackets and throw it at the gay club and like, go get your jacket. So I really didn't experience Bourbon until as a grown man when I got out of prison, sleeping in the bars and stuff.
It was just freestyling, huh?
Right.
I ain't lie, but like right before the pandemic, and for the last probably 10 years, I hung on Bourbon. I was going to Penthouse like every day. Right. Because I knew that's where like the real money was at.
Right.
You know, you can meet anybody who got that bag at Penthouse. Yeah. You can invest in your do it, whatever. I could just be like hanging in that little front area. I ain't never make it that far back there. But you know, they got like me. But I saw a lot on Bourbon. I would never put it on camera, but I saw a lot on Bourbon. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a crazy place. But most of all, you know, like I said, the change that I do see is, you know, our people. And it starts with, you know, each person doing their part to just do right. You know what I'm saying? Do right, do a good deed. Get somebody, you know, somebody you see struggling, give them a little bit of money. You know, give them a good word, you know. These brothers that I'm sitting here with, you know, I didn't get your name. You know.
Darren, a.k.a. Nola Plug.
Nola Plug. You know, good brother that, you know, he doing something that was needed here in New Orleans, us having a hip-hop media outlet. You know, Big Boss with Boss C&T. You know, this man did a lot of positive things for the community. So, you know, life is life. You're going to have the good and the bad, but the good going to always outweigh the bad, you know.
Gotcha. So, out of everything you've done at your, everything have you actually, you know, went through in life?
Mm-hmm.
Do you have, any, regrets? Do it all over again. Huh?
Look, I swear to God, believe, like my brother and them will tell you this, like, you know, and I thank God for guiding me in everything, but like I've had fun. I could leave out here today, and God forbid, but if I leave out here today and I lose my life on Bourbon, I could leave away from here a happy man. I had fun. I had fun in prison.
Like, that was my next question. Like,
wait, look. This is not me promote. Enjoy your life. Like you gonna go through. Like, if I can't give nothing else to the younger generation or just to people, period, enjoy life. Like a lot of times we can't prevent a lot of the stuff that people gonna go through. It happened from childhood. Like some of us go through some traumatic shit. But the only thing you can do is just let that person know you're not alone. Make them smile, make them laugh. Man, if just sitting in lockdown talking to myself, you know what I'm saying? Making songs, rapping, mixtapes for hours. But it's just the joy of knowing that at the end of the day, I did what I wanted to do.
It's crazy, you know what I'm saying? Because I told somebody something, he was like, what? I say, I used to enjoy going to jail. I never been to prison.
Right.
I used to find out a lot in the holding tank. And maybe sometimes I'll make it upstairs. But I used to enjoy the process. But I was like, man, prison, I was always told all them stories. Like, man, it's real. You go there.
Right.
It's a whole different look, a whole different world.
Right. So if I could even elaborate a little bit more on that, so like my brother and them used to always tell me like okay, when I went there 6 months in the parish out there in Lafayette, I came home thought I was He-Man, you know, which I still had the mindset like that wasn't enough, you know. Like my brother and them would tell you like, boy, you ain't like I used to tell them I'm going to prison. Like for me, I also saw it as like a university. Like you have a lot of people talk about, you know.
Yeah, a lot of people don't realize, like, you know, if you was born a certain era, like if you ain't go to jail, you ain't really like.
Right.
It was like you damn near knew you was going to jail for something.
Right.
But it's crazy, like, you know, like, because I told somebody, I say, man, like, for just life, just living, I say before 21, I probably ain't care about life. I say 25, I start caring a little bit more after seeing stuff. By 30, I really cared about life. I'm like, but I never thought I would make it that far because the people kind of promote it in your mind.
Right. It's sad and it's sick, but it just goes to show you we really don't know how messed up we've been as a people until if some of us blessed to reach the age of 30. You know, my brother and them used to be like, boy, you talking stupid. Don't go to... I'm like, man, I'm only do like 2 years. My partner, BB, shout out to BB, Chocolate Thunder. He's also a comedian. He's be like, boy, look, you're going to be up in there. I'm like, man, I'm only do 2 years. I swear to God. I was in a hole. And I'm like, you know, 2 years at the date on the calendar of 2 years. I'm like, yep, I'm about to get out of here. And I'm like, Tom, oh shit. That nigga was right. I know he laughed if he see this. But man, I went to banging on the door like honestly, my mind snapped at that point. I'm like, oh
and
shit.
reality hit.
Reality hit. I'm like, I'm not going home. Like so. But yeah, man, like that. I
used to be in jail, and I always sat there and thought about, I see somebody here worse than me. As long as I ain't have a red band on life, I knew it was a chance of, you know, and like you always put a plan, like, man, I ain't gonna do that again.
Right.
But that's crazy that you just have that mindset.
Right.
And I told somebody, I said, man, New Orleans is like a tricky city. It's like we grew up like no under, like, you know. Like, our beef is, like, probably next door 5 minutes away. And like I said, if you've been outside in the streets or been around or know a lot of people, it's a big chance if you over 30, 35, you probably know over 50 people been killed. That ain't normal. People in the army don't even know 50 people got killed. And that's why I be like, dang, how I know all these people get killed? We don't even got a population that big.
Right. And I also got to say this, too. Like, you know, all joking aside, you know, I thank God for the beautiful brothers that I met on that journey, that, you know, that want their freedom, that'll beat the shit out of me for talking about I had fun in prison, or even told me, look, nigga, you come back up in here, you know, put your shoes on, you know, but because, you know, they want their freedom. And, you know, Mac, I didn't think Mac was coming home, but that brother home, you know.
Right. Anything's possible.
Right, that's it, brother. That's it. You know, but shout out to all them brothers, you know, the students of Islam, the Islamic community, you know, that them brothers did a lot to change a lot of youngsters that went in that damaged and came home, you know, good men. Me, one of them, you know.
So, like, do you think that the only reason you became, Muslim, ever was because you went to prison?
Yeah. I had to be stripped of everything. Where I was completely desperate, like low, you know what I'm saying?
I ain't like just me, no, not like disrespecting nobody who did that, but I always thought when somebody went to jail, like and became Muslim, I always thought of the movie South Central. I just always automatically thought,
right.
Man, you know, because like some people and put themselves in so much of a bad situation going to jail, they be needing that type of brotherhood. They need that protection or help. Like, you know what? Man, it's bad for me out there on the tip by myself. I need to go join some type of organization.
For me, it was like always this, you know, now I can honestly say I successfully live with bipolar depression. You know, I'm earning my bachelor's in psychology, and it helped me heal a lot, but you know, back then I didn't realize I had bipolar depression. I did a lot of manic, stupid shit. My pastime was fighting the police for fun. Just I ain't got nothing to do. Y'all about to earn y'all money.
It's funny. I was just talking about
go
that.
beat the shit out of me. It be like, you had enough? We gonna tag in the next shift. Now I won't talk shit, but at the same time, I'm lumped up like the elephant man. Like
I just told somebody because my dad, all his charges is
Right.
fighting the police.
Right,
And I
right.
was sitting there like, man, they ain't never try to shoot him once. I'm like I just think my luck bad.
Right,
Me
right,
go
right.
swing at the police, I think I'm gonna get killed.
right.
But
Right.
I think, a lot of people be fighting the police too, be drunk already, so they can't kill you. 'Cause
Right,
they
right,
kind of
right.
know how you coming at them.
Right.
But I think if a person's sober, they might shoot you.
Right, for real. Man.
Like it always be some drunk people trying to fight the police.
Right. Yeah. But
Were you drinking when you trying to fight them?
Oh no. So like.
Oh, you fought him in jail.
Well, you.
Yeah, I saw them beat the brick. I ain't gonna lie, y'all. I saw them beat a dude for knocking on the door so bad. His ears was bleeding. I said, man, whatever they did him, I don't want them to do it to me.
Look, I swear to God, like for the longest when I used to hear like people saying, man, white people the devil, white people, and which I learned better is good and bad is devils and all
bad with
races,
everything.
right? But at that point in time, when I had 5 white police officers beating the shit out of me, I'm like, God, they was right there. It's the
You thought
devil.
about Roots?
In my mind, I'm like, they're the devil. I see what the old people say. They stomping on my head.
They probably was squeaking to beat you up. Like, you gave me a reason.
Man. But yeah, man. Just, we go through life, to learn, we blessed to learn and for some of us to still be here,
Gotcha. And also, last but not least, tell the world. I'm like, what can they find you at on social media and everywhere else?
Instagram at Righteous Money 2020. My music is on all platforms. Man, go and check out Boss Beats, Boss Entertainment. Man, so for years he wasn't known for his production, but man, that's the genius behind all these tracks that I keep pumping out that's just beating the speakers down, that's playing all up and down Bourbon through all the strip clubs. That's Bossy and T. Go check that out. I got a song dropping 12 o'clock tonight with Nas Got Next called Destined to Shine. And most importantly, just, keep doing good deeds. Keep doing good deeds. Keep God first. And, be a good human being at the end of the day.